Hi, my name is Jo and I'm the CEO and founder of NaviStar Legal. And today I'm talking to Simon Atkinson of Marlborough, Scott. Hi, Simon.
Hi, Jo.
Simon has an ethical investment company and I've asked him to talk to me today about his personal habits, his personal routines, any philosophies that he has, because we're creating this tribe of next generation lawyers that think more like business people than lawyers. And I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to understand the way that some people, some business owners, and particularly successful business owners, think and work and do things. So Simon, have you got any kind of top habits or routines that really work for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think most people, you always see people saying, "Oh, I'm a morning person," or "I'm an afternoon person," or whatever. Or you get maybe folks who just like to work at any particular given hour. I think over the years, I think I've probably changed from initially being someone who probably would have worked at any given hour to now I seem to just burn myself out throughout the day. And now I've definitely become a morning person. I get a lot more done between probably about 8 o'clock in the morning and midday than I do, in evenings or whatever. By the time the evening comes around, yes, I'll do some work, but I'm not as productive.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because I've simply been working through the day. Really, I had to really try quite hard to stop myself burning out, because I would work silly hours and weekends, and I think it is the case that you can only go into burst mode for so long.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do it and it's unavoidable, but I think if you do it all the time, the exception being if what you're doing you really love, of course, in which case, chefs being a great example, then that might work for you. But a lot of what I do is mentally pretty intensive, and simply doesn't work to do it all the time. So I tend to work quite hard in the mornings. I'll walk the dog depending on when and time of year and so on. I.e., if it's winter, then I might leave it a bit later in the day, as it's a bit lighter, if you see what I mean. And one of the strange things, and this is, when and where, Jo, do you have your best ideas? Let me ask you this question.
That's a good question. When do I have my best ideas? It's not outside, which is what I heard immediately. My arm was like, when I'm walking, no. Usually it's in a yoga class when I ought to be just focusing on the yoga, and I'm like, my mind's going off in lots of different directions, or just before bed.
Okay.
Before I get into bed and I'm like, or that kind of, that point where you're not quite asleep.
Yeah.
Either in the morning when I've woken up, but then I'm kind of dozing, I get some great ideas then. That's when I get, usually when I'm half asleep.
So for me, I noticed that I have ideas, and actually my ideas are generally pretty good. If I fail, it's because I don't carry them out well enough. And I noticed that I tend to have my best ideas when I'm in the shower.
Interesting.
So
interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know why.
But you're not
so
the first
actually,
person that told me that, actually. Yeah.
if I wanted a really good idea, a good day full of ideas, I should probably have about 10 showers. But I haven't tried that, by the way.
Yeah. Go back to your teens. Yeah, I guess the bath is a good place for me. It's that sitting down, like really. It's when you take a rest. If I don't have a screen in front of me, I guess, which most of the day I do. So the ideas don't flow when I'm sitting there kind of typing or doing something with a screen, but take the screen away from me, including television, mobile phone, and the ideas do tend to flow a bit better, which I guess is why I could say in the yoga class, because in the yoga class, no screen and I'm just in, just.
I think the screen provides a mental diversion, because you start looking at other things. So if you don't have that diversion, I think you're more likely to have some productive thoughts, really. So I think, you know, going for a walk or whatever, or having a shower, whatever it may be. Driving less so, because you do have to focus on other things.
Yeah.
So I think it's where you can sort of detach your mind from any distraction, or any major distraction at least.
What do you love to do? Like, what are the things that you just enjoy doing on the weekend, or like, how do you detach?
Um, Seems a long time, doesn't it, since we had those sort of. Um, well, where we live in a very rural area, which is very hilly, so we get to do a lot of walking, again with the dog. Um, that's great. I just like chilling out. I like this sort of sunshine holidays where I can chill by the pool. So I do like, if I get the opportunity, at least at some point in the year, to just have a complete break. I get bored quickly, unfortunately, so a 2 week break means I'm probably doing something on the laptop in week 2. But week 1, if I can just completely chill out, I think, you know, that sort of recharging for me is really good.
That's the kind of all or nothing, isn't it? It's like, I'm going to take myself just to burn out. Oh, no, holiday time. Great. I feel much
Yeah,
better. And then your mind works in a completely different way.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I used to love sailing, but I've not had the chance to do it for a while, and we don't live particularly near the coast, but that was always great for switching off.
Mm.
But yeah, outdoor stuff like that I think is great. You know, I used to play quite a lot of football. I've got a little old now to do that, but yeah, those kind of things really. Just
Awesome. So physical activity and outdoor stuff, it sounds like, really.
yeah, I think it comes back to this balance between the phys the mental and physical stuff, and being able to detach yourself enough. I do a lot of cooking, funnily enough.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah.
I'm reasonably good at it, and I find that again is something else to completely focus on. And it's something, it's a different skill, you know.
Yeah.
So actually, that of all the things I do, that's probably my major sort of hobby, as it were.
It's funny because my partner's got really into cooking recently, particularly as you can't buy any food at the moment at,
Yeah,
at our regular places. So he goes to I was going to say market. It's not a market. It's just where there's fresh fish, and
yeah,
he was preparing prawns yesterday and like picking it all apart. He describes it as a bit of a meditation,
yeah,
that it's
yeah.
like he doesn't have his music on, but he puts his headset on just to keep everything quiet and then just. But yeah, I'm not a fan of cooking, to be honest. I love that he can cook, but is that what it is? It's kind of a
Yeah, I
meditative
think so.
focus. Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, it is something else to focus on. I mean, I used to know a guy many years ago, and he used to go um, fly fishing in the river, and so he'd got his chest waders, so he'd put them on, he'd wade up to sort of, his chest in the river, and he'd just spend hours just casting his rod. And he said, once said to me when he did that, he didn't think of anything else.
Right.
That was just his way of just completely switching off. So I guess these are all different ways of doing it. It's,
Yeah.
something else to focus on, and not think about work for a while.
Yeah. Great. How are things? Just final question. How are things affecting you right now? What's the home situation in this
Well,
unprecedented times?
we're quite well. We're not remote, but we are, I suppose, out of town, up in the hills. So people come in and they go, "Oh, you're in the middle of nowhere, aren't you?" Well, yeah, but we're only 5 minutes by car to the station, so we can't be completely in the middle of nowhere. But we are sort of, in our own way, quite shut away. And I think there is a bit of sort of cabin fever, but luckily the weather's not been so bad most of the time, so you can get out in your own garden, as it were, without contravening anything you shouldn't. And I work from home. So just
Yeah.
speaking personally, because I work from home most of the time, it's not something that I've found a massive change. If I had to go to an office every day, and I've never worked from home, I would imagine I would find this mentally very tough.
Yeah.
Because one of the things about offices is you've got a level of social interaction as well. But if you habitually work from home anyway, then it's not such a big change. I've noticed, yeah, I've used a lot of Zoom and Teams a lot more as we are today. Now I use them anyway, but not to the same extent. And I don't really mind that. So actually, from that perspective, it's okay. From a social perspective, I am concerned, for people that this will not be able to carry on much longer. For people, I think financially and mentally and lots of other reasons. And there is going to be a balance at some point between where we are now and where we need to be, for sure. But in terms of being stuck inside, it's not bothering me hugely. I think the first time I got bored was Sunday afternoon. And quite honestly, Sunday afternoons are definitionally boring anyway. So
I imagine you're keeping yourself quite busy. You've got family at home as well, haven't you? So yeah. Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you for joining us, Simon, and giving us a little bit of inspirational wisdom today. Tell us how we get in contact with you, Marlborough Scott.
Yeah, well, Marlborough Scott, the best way, again, is really through the website, marlboroughscott.com. There's a contact us page, which we receive via email. You could actually, thinking about it, if you really wanted to, you could phone our office in Manchester, and again, we will pick up that message pretty quickly. But either of those generate a very quick response from one of us.
Yeah, I'm actually looking for the first M&A deal to happen during the lockdown. I actually think it's possible to do it because a lot of stuff is done virtually. I think the difficulty is can't actually get in, and frankly, like you say, valuation.
Well, yeah, the problem is that for us, you'll need to do surveys usually.
You've got to do a lot of people talking as well.
Yeah, if you
can't, relationship building.
You need to get a survey usually on any property involved and also on any finance. Yeah. And if you can't actually do those at the moment, so that is a big stumbling block for us, at least. I mean, we were ready to go with one, and we parked it because of those. We can't do the due diligence. No. Also, the valuation very well could change. So. Yeah, but I think those that get done in lockdown were probably ones that were literally just about to go. Where all of that's being completed,
Exactly. Yeah, there's one kind of on our radar, but it's the financing now. It's making sure that the finances, and I think the finances are suddenly going, I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, that's for another day. We will follow up with this. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for a bit of inspirational wisdom, and we'll connect again soon. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Thanks, Joe. Bye.